There are three primary areas of your life, which if you want to go on a lifestyle reboot, meaning you want to reset your life, you want to approach these three areas of your life. It'll give you a plan for you to follow so that you can know step by step what to do and how to do it when it comes to resetting your life. And the three areas are health, finances, and relationships. Health, finances, and relationships. How do you know this? When you go to somebody who is a fortune teller, somebody who is what we refer to as a cold reader, someone who essentially doesn't know you, cold meaning a stranger, someone you don't know, and they read you, and they will always inevitably. I had a girlfriend of mine who was a fortune teller or tarot card reader, and what she did, she told me the secrets of cold reading. And this was a very, very long time ago. And so from that point, I learned a lot about psychology when it comes to reading people and fortune telling, it's not real. So here's how it ends up happening. And while not going to the specific techniques, all of your challenges, all of your problems, everything important in your life will always come down to three things. All of your challenges and problems in your life will always come down to three things: your health, your wealth, and your relationships. So, for example, if you go up to someone who's a fortune teller and they were trying to tell a fortune with you, they could very well say, "You look like you're having a problem with your finances, or relationships, or your health," or they will stem any problem you're having right now, any challenges you're having right now. They will connect it to one of those three things. It seems like this is happening because of a deeper problem, and a deeper problem has to do with it takes a lot of intuition experience for them to be able to say, okay, this comes from your health or your finances or something with your relationships is causing this problem. What they're doing is having a little bit of intuition and experience and relating it back to the three most important aspects of your life. And they use some tricky stuff to make you believe, using language to make you believe that they're actually reading you, foretelling things about you and things about your future. So going back to I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she just had a breakup with her long time boyfriend, who they also had a business together, and we were kind of making fun of this aspect of, I'm going to start over with my life, what she told me. And I take things literally just for the fun of it, the pun of it. And so, resetting your life, what does that entail? And so this gave me this brilliant idea as to, there are a lot of people probably who would be interested into what should you be doing if you were to start over? What should you be doing when you want to restart your life? And not necessarily restart from zero, as in from 0 years old and then learn how to walk, learn how to talk, things like that. Although that is a powerful idea, to reset your lifestyle and relearn how to do things and relearn how to think. In hypnotherapy, I'm a trained hypnotherapist. Actually, I'm a trained hypnotist, and I just use it for therapy, but I digress. I'm a trained hypnotist, and hypnosis, the very premise of hypnosis, get ready for this. What is the very premise of hypnosis? Premise meaning the axiom, meaning the central tenet. What is central tenet? Central tenet is where all the ideas come from. How do all the techniques get created in hypnosis? Why do all the techniques work in hypnosis? The central tenet of these ideas and these techniques and these strategies in hypnosis or hypnotherapy, the very central tenet, pay attention to what I'm going to say, is that we are learning machines. We learn in an instant, in a very instant. They say that change takes 5 to 7 years, so you got to see your psychotherapist for 5 to 7 years for you to create change. Here's the truth: change happens instantly. Change happens instantly. Now it may not show up. The results, the outside cues may not show up instantly, but you changed instantly. You change instantly. And so while you can implement the things that you changed, the things that you changed in your life, you implement them and they start showing up. The results start showing up. You make a change in your business and the results start showing up later on down the road. It's not like when you plant a seed, if you're a farmer and you're sowing seeds, you plant some seeds grow, some seeds die. Some seeds never do anything, but as long as you keep planting, the next season and the next season and the next season, you're going to harvest. And so it's the same way. Change will show up later on, but change in yourself, in and of yourself, happens instantly. And so going back, the three areas that you have to pay attention to when it comes to resetting your life, if you want to reset your life, it's a wonderful idea. Recognizing that your brain is a learning mechanism, is a learning machine. It can learn really, really, really fast. And so if you want to reset your life, the fantastic and beautiful thing is that you've already gone through some experience as to you've recognized how to do things and more importantly, how not to do things. Mistakes give you the opportunity to tell you how not to do those things. In fact, that's what success is. Success is not the preferable outcome. Success is the outcome. Any outcome is a success so long as you continue attempting. When the person who created the light bulb filament said, how come you kept going after 3,000 failures? It's not because I failed 3,000 times. It's because I learned 3,000 ways not to do those things. And so you now reset your life and you've acquired all of this experience. And I'll show you what to do in these three areas of your life so that you can have a blueprint for you to follow, an assignment for you to do so that you can begin to create your life. And that's exactly what you do. You create your life. Anybody who imagines that life is either given to them or they don't deserve their life or they don't earn their living is doomed to slavery. And the slavery is not of a governmental slavery. The slavery is the slavery that they create for themselves. It's a prison that they create for themselves. But when you realize that the door is open, that the cage is not locked, because some tigers, even when you open the cage door, the tigers will stay in that cage. And so you recognize the cage door is open, and the only reason you're in a prison is because it's a prison of your own making. And so what I like to provide, for example, is something called enlightenment. Enlightenment, in many different definitions, could very literally be to show light, to shed light upon something. So when, for example, you're walking in the dark and then you get a flashlight, now you have something, you can enlighten an area. Or enlighten is to unburden. It's to lighten the load, to enlighten. And they essentially mean the same things. When you unburden yourself from preconceptions, because remember that you are a learning mechanism, therefore you are a really, really good learner. Really, really efficient learner. And you've learned things not because they were true, you learned them because that was what was taught. Let me say that again because it's really important. You learned things not because they were true. You learned things because that's what you were taught by authority figures. And most people don't really practice critical thinking. What is critical thinking? The opposite of critical thinking is saying, I'm doing this because it's what I've always known to do, and I'm not going to question it. Critical thinking is saying, I'm doing this and I feel I know this, but I don't know why I know this. And so you question why you know the things that you do. So here's your premise. It must be your premise before I go into the three things and how to approach those three areas. The premise has to be anything you know that you don't know why you know is suspect. Anything you know in your life which you don't know why you know those things has to be questioned. So now let's go back to how to reboot your lifestyle. Because the reason why I thought about that idea is because as she was going through saying that I want to start over my life, so I thought to myself, how would someone actually start over their life? They're not necessarily going to digress revert into 0 years old and 1 years old and 2 years old and learn how to walk and talk. But certainly they can reset their minds and reset the way they do things, reset the things that they've learned so that they can have a better life from here forward. So what are the 3 things? Essentially what we do in the Great Relationships University, what we do is we teach you the very aspects in your life, the very aspects, the most important aspects in your life, how you communicate, how to relearn how to communicate. Do you know that you can say things in particular ways so you can influence other people? How can you get how to get your kids to stop smoking? How do you get people to change their minds when they have the wrong ideas and they believe these wrong ideas? Or whatever they believe this idea is, it doesn't work. It's demonstrably true. It doesn't work. How do you convince them of that if you were to convince them? How do you communicate effectively? How do you get over your fears, which you are self-creating these fears? Do you recognize that fears are self-created? Remember that the brain is a learning mechanism? One of the things you learn really, really easily because of survival, your desire to survive, is called fear. Despite your only being born with 3 fears actually, 2 emotions, 3 fears. 2 emotions, love and fear. And 3 kinds of fears: fear of pain, fear of loud noises, and fear of falling. And every single one you get over. You get over the fear of pain. You get by recognizing and learning what things cause pain, what things doesn't cause pain. You get over the fear of loud noises. You can go into clubs. And you get over the fear of falling by recognizing that people jump on a parachute every day of their lives without any fear. You can get over all of your fears. Every other fear is learned because you are a learning mechanism. Your brain is a learning machine. And so how do you get over those fears? What are the things that inhibit you? Anything that inhibits you is not a matter of actual inhibition. There is actually no gate that you have to pass by to get to your goal. The only inhibition is in the mind. The only inhibition is self-created, self-manifested, and self-embodied. Once you begin to release yourself from these things that cause pain, that cause fear, whether they're from your childhood, whether they're from your adulthood, whatever it is, once you get rid of these inhibitions, and this is what we teach, how to get over those things, what activities to do, how to do it, how to think, what to do, what to think, when it comes to what things to consider when it comes to those things. So before this gets any longer, what are the 3 ideas? Man, I wish I had a timer that timed this. So the 3 things you have to approach in your life if you want a lifestyle reboot is health, relationships, and finances. Health. I would encourage you, where's my book? I would encourage you to read this book. I have 2 books. I would encourage you to read this book. It's called A Simple Manifesto on the Science of Toning. I wrote this book. You could get it on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, search my name, Rowan John, or search A Simple Manifesto on the Science of Toning. Read that. It's a distilled down, very simple, 60-page variation of a really, really thick book by Dr. Lane Norton. The second thing, relationships, I would encourage you to revisit my videos where I talk a lot about relationships. And that's something I love, communication, how to communicate in relationships, what to base your relationships on. I will talk more about this in the following days. The theme for this week perhaps would be lifestyle reboot, rebooting your lifestyle. What would you do if you were to start over again, if you had to start over again? And what I encourage you to do right now is go to Great Relationships U or see a Great Relationships University ambassador and enroll for that course. It will teach you from A to Z what happens in a relationship, my 12 years of experience as a dating and relationships consultant and coach. Final thing is finances. We'll talk more about finances and how to approach finances. There's things called a balance sheet, and most people's balance sheets are awful. It's just income, expense, income, expense, income, expense. Well, have you ever considered that there's another kind of balance sheet, which is called assets and liabilities? There's income and expense, there's assets and liabilities. And I'll explain this more in next videos. But what you want to do is with your income, you must have more income than your expense. And with your income, you insert it into into an asset column, acquire asset column, fill up your asset column, have more assets than liabilities, and minimize your liabilities, increase your assets with your income, whatever income stream you have, and then minimize your expenses. And that is how you create your wealth. That's the very basics of finances. I will conclude at this for now, and I'll continue more on these topics. Let's just recall. There are 3 aspects of your life that are very important, that are very critical: health, finances, relationships. And we're going to talk more about those in these areas. Now, if you want to just take on a course which will reset your life, will give you the things you need to learn for you to be able to have a tremendous and amazing life, amazing relationships, every aspect of your life in any business, you'll be able to negotiate more. You'll be able to convince more. You'll be able to sell better. You'll be able to seduce better. You'll be able to have better relationships. You'll be able to have better friendships and better associations and better businesses, and be able to manage your relationships better and communicate better by taking on the Great Relationships University. Is 6 courses. It's an amazing bargain. See a Great Relationships University ambassador, or hit me up, and I'll show you the way. Leave a comment below this video. I would love to know your thoughts on this topic, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.